Hi, I'm Nigel and this is Simply Simulator, hopefully giving you some tips and tricks how you can get the best out of your simulator. In this video, I'm a bit of a departure. I've now got the Xbox version of Microsoft Flight Simulator. I know some of you hard-bitten simmers will be saying that that's a game more than a simulator. I have to say, I think it's really enjoyable to fly, but I found it quite cumbersome, and so this video is about the HOTAS joystick and how that's added value. So I've been flying for a while on the Microsoft Flight Simulator on the Xbox. Really good graphics, very good interaction. It works well. It runs quickly, particularly on the I've got the Xbox Series X, but it will run on the Series S as well. It has to run on the two new Xboxes before you can download it. But what I found quite cumbersome is the using it with the Xbox controller is really quite tricky. Some of the throttle adjustments, particularly the trim, is quite cumbersome, and so I bought this HOTAS throttle and joystick, which gives a much more flexibility, much more control over the aircraft, much more control over the systems. And I'll take you through the throttle, what it has to offer, and why I think it's worth the purchase. So I skipped through the early part of the unboxing. It's well packaged in polystyrene. It comes in, as you can see here, the two halves of the throttle. They're packed separately, but they're connected by a cable. Traditional Xbox switches, traditional joystick switches, trigger on the back, and the whole thing feels really solid. The spring is very solid. You can set it to configure for the PC or for the Xbox, and there's an easy button to connect a rudder set in if you buy that with the joystick, or even separately. And on the throttle quadrant, again, plenty of buttons again that can be configured and set up numbered clearly so that you know what you're configuring. And on the back of the throttle quadrant, the traditional Xbox, Y, X, A and B, and again numbered for configuration with the PC. And on the other side, another couple of numbered buttons, 9 and 10, and a toggle switch. The quadrant feels really solid, and when you move the throttle backwards and forwards, it really feels solid, and it gives you some good feedback so that you know that it's actually clicking in to the new location. On the bottom, again, well made. I did find it quite difficult. There's a little lug that needs to go in a hole on the side of the throttle when you bring the two halves together, and you just need to really just lever in gently. There are two screws that hold the two halves in place, one on either side, and they click in really quite solidly. Well, I found it's quite well designed. You just need to run the cable around and then clip it into the channel so it's out of the way. And then there are fixings here for if you want to put the joystick on a stand, or fix it maybe to a simulator. Really helpfully, there's an Allen key already provided that you can use to actually tie the two together by tightening down the locking screws. They are a little bit fiddly again. You just need to make sure that it's properly seated. I couldn't get the screw initially to hold, but you just need to wiggle it around a bit and make sure it's properly seated, and then you can feel once the screws start to take hold, and they really solidly connect the two halves together. So you can obviously see the cable's quite long, so if you don't want them together, you can have them set up separately on different stands or different parts of the sim. Once together, it is a very solid joystick. You can use it on your lap or on the desk. I found it to be really versatile. It responds really well in the sim. The plane is very sensitive to fly with it. Quite a longish cable for the USB as well, which again gives you some flexibility and some options when you're setting up. Overall, in my opinion, really well worth a purchase and makes a massive difference. So I hope that was useful. As I say, I found the controllers to be really cumbersome. The HOTAS joystick just completely changes the experience. It makes it really much more enjoyable. The plane responds really well. It's much more configurable. For some of the hard-bitten simmers amongst us, I know that the Xbox, as I said, will never be a proper simulator, but it is really enjoyable. The graphics are brilliant, and it's a great way to just test new scenery and new routes, and frankly, just to enjoy and have a little bit of immersion and escapism flying over some of the amazing scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's all I've got for you today. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to be notified when further videos are uploaded. Let me know any comments, and I'll catch you next time.